In this lesson, we are going to move drawing objects. The Move command is located on the Home tab in the Modify panel. You can also type M, then press Enter at your keyboard. After beginning the Move command, the next thing that you need to do is select the objects that are going to be moved. In this case, I've got a couple of circles that aren't quite placed correctly. They need to move to the left 0.5. So I'll begin the Move command. The command line asks me to select my objects, so I will click on the two circles. I can continue clicking objects and add them to my selection set, but when I'm done selecting them, I need to press Enter to tell AutoCAD that I'm ready to move on to the next step. The next step is to select my base point. Most of the time, that base point is probably going to be on the object being moved. For example, I'll choose the center of one of these two circles. As you can see, I get a preview for moving these two shapes. When moving, I can snap to another object, or I can simply use direct distance. So if I want to move 0.5 to the left, I'll simply track to the left, type 0.5, then press Enter. So let's see that again on the right side. This time, however, I'm going to select the objects first. When you select the objects with no command active, you'll see the grips. I'm now going to select my Move command, and I basically saved myself a keystroke. I no longer have to press Enter to tell AutoCAD I'm done selecting objects, because AutoCAD assumes I selected all the objects I wanted before I hit the Move command. So I'm ready to specify my base point. Then once again, I'll move to the right, 0.5, then Enter. Often when moving objects, I'll actually want to snap to another object rather than just simply moving it a certain value. In this case, I have a little assembly that needs to go together. And the first step is to take this plate over here on the left and move it to the plate on the right. When moving from one shape to another, it's important to think about where the base point is and where the next point is. So I have a lot of different possibilities. I could move this shape from its lower left corner to the upper left corner of this one. Or I can go from the lower right corner to the upper right corner. Or I can use its midpoints. So lots of different options. I'm going to go ahead and start with the lower left corner. So I'll choose my Move command, select my objects, then press Enter to tell AutoCAD that I'm done selecting objects. Next, I'll pick the lower left corner as my base point, and then simply snap to the end point of the other shape to locate my second point. Similarly, I'm going to place the washers. This time I'm going to use their midpoints. So I'll select the washer, then press Enter, pick the midpoint of the bottom, and snap to the midpoint of the top. And then I'll repeat the process for the lower washer as well. So I'll move, select, Enter to tell it I'm done selecting, pick a base point, pick a second point. Next, I'll move the bolt. So I'll select the Move command, then the bolt, Enter to tell AutoCAD I'm done selecting, and I'm going to pick the midpoint of the bottom of the head here as my base point. Then I'll snap to the midpoint of the top of the washer. Finally, I'll move the nut in. I'll choose the Move command, select the nut, Enter to tell it I'm done selecting. I'll pick the upper midpoint of the nut, and then I'll pick the lower midpoint of the washer. Now you can see I have everything moved into place. For this to be a technically correct drawing, I have a lot of trimming to do, which we're not going to cover at the current moment. We're just going to focus on the actual Move command right now. So to summarize, when using the Move command, we select the objects that we want to move, then press Enter. Then we specify a base point, then the second point, which we can get either by snapping to an existing point or by typing in a direct distance value to travel. That concludes this lesson on the Move command in AutoCAD.